episode 45 of the Cozy Cottage Crochet Podcast. My name is Hannah, and this is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, sometimes sewing, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. How are you? It has been 3 weeks. I know that is longer than I normally take in between episodes, and I will talk about that in just a moment. But first, I know what you all have been waiting for, the giveaway winner. I want to go ahead and announce that. There were over 400 comments on my last video, and I was completely blown away. What the prize is this amazing 3-skein set of Sheep Happens yarn. The lovely Leah, who is the owner and dyer behind Sheep Happens Yarn, sent me this as a prize a little while ago, and I am using it for the 5,000 subscriber giveaway. It also comes with this beautiful project bag. I wish I could give you all a prize. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, that you watch, that you come back, that you comment, that you like and subscribe. It means the world to me. You guys are the reason that I do this. I wish I could give you all a prize, but unfortunately I only have one. So what I will do is leave a link directly below to Leah's shop so that you can go support her. She is a crocheter, she is a member of this community, and she watches this podcast. So you should definitely, if you're gonna spend money on yarn, you should definitely send it her way because she is such a fabulous person. So I used a random comment generator to pick out of the 400. And there were so many sweet comments. It's a good thing that I was able to use a random comment generator because there's no way I would have been able to select one without that. You guys are so nice. The person who has won, your YouTube name is Guadalupe Esparza, and your comment says, YouTube suggested your podcast and I was so happy it was for crochet. And another big plus is that you live near me. I live in Tampa, Florida. That is so exciting. You live like 20 minutes from me. So I am gonna comment down below on your comment, Guadalupe. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. But please, please, please send me an email. I need your mailing address so that I can get this in the mail to you as soon as possible. Please shoot me an email to thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com, and I will put that down below as well. And that goes for anyone who is requesting anything related to the podcast, any comments, inquiries, concerns. Please do shoot me an email. That is the best way to get a hold of me, certainly. I do try to respond to all of the YouTube comments that I receive, but I have not been able to respond to any from the last video yet, and there were over 400. So that kind of blew me away a little bit. I haven't had a chance to sit down and go through them all. I have read every single one, but I haven't had a chance to respond to them yet. So please shoot me an email if there's something urgent. If you are looking for me on the interwebs, you can find me on Instagram as the Cozy Cottage Crochet. That's where I'm most active. If you want updates on my life, updates on why I did not record a podcast episode last week, you can find me there, also on Facebook. But the best way to get a hold of me is to email me if you need something in particular. A couple of administrative things. Number one, we have 2 crochet alongs going on at the moment. One is the Love Your Stash Cowl, which goes until the end of February. The only rule is that you have to use stash yarn. Whips are completely allowed. They are part of your stash. There are so many finished objects in the thread already, and the chatter thread is crazy. There's like almost 200 posts on Instagram with the hashtag Love Your Stash Cowl, and that makes me so happy. I am working on several projects for that as well, which I will show you in just a minute. And then the second make along that we have going on is the Year of the Sock 2019, and it is just an informal make along for socks. So you can knit them, you can crochet them, however you want to make socks is completely fine. And we are just making socks together. My original goal was to make 6 pairs of socks in 2019. I have since decided that I want to make 12 pairs of socks in 2019. Is that crazy? That feels crazy. But since I'm only making shorty socks, I feel like it's doable. I don't know. I may get to like June and be like, I'm never making another sock ever again. I'm so tired of them. But for now, that is my goal, to make 12 pairs of socks because I really, really want to wear some. I am wearing some right now because it's like 50 degrees in Florida. You guys, that's so cold. So cold. I should talk about what I'm wearing as well. This is the Killmonger cowl, which I will put a link to down below. This is a pattern by Stephanie of the Tatted Tatter. It is her pattern actually calls for it to be half this size. But I doubled the length of it. I had the opportunity to actually be a tester for her pattern. And so what it has is some V-stitches, and then it has this beautiful textured section. Her pattern calls for fingering weight yarn. This is a sport weight yarn. This is actually 50% cotton and 50% acrylic. And I used it out of my stash, so I knew it was going to come up a little bigger, but I wanted mine to be able to wrap around twice. And the best thing is, because it's cold, I pulled this out this morning, and of course it doesn't go anywhere because it's a circle. But it's been stored with all of my shawls, etc., that are made out of wool. And this cotton and acrylic now smells sheepy. It's the best thing ever. So I'll leave a link to her pattern below. It's very simple. It's super easy to do. I whipped this out in like, I don't know, 3 days because it's exactly what I needed. Oh, I feel like there's fuzz in my eye. I'm sorry. You probably don't want to see me like just rubbing my face. So I have an excessive amount of things to talk about because it has been 3 weeks. This may be a shorter episode than normal. I don't know. It may not be because I have so much to talk about. But before I get into my finished objects, I just want to say why I was not here last week because I am pretty strict about recording every 2 weeks. I have not been feeling very well over the last couple of weeks, since right before Christmas actually. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that because I posted last week that I just was not feeling up to recording a podcast. And so many of you are so nice and you were like, yes, please rest, feel better. But I didn't have a cold. I didn't have the flu. I know that that's going around. Somehow I have not gotten the cold or the flu. I don't know how that's possible because usually if there is a germ in the world, my body will find it and cradle it and hold it dear in my heart, and I will just get sick because my immune system is not great. But no, it was something completely different. It pretty much like laid me out for a couple of weeks. I actually had to visit the hospital twice. I've been to the doctor a bunch of times. I've been stabbed, got my blood drawn a bunch of times, and everything is moving in the right direction. I'm just waiting for some final results basically over the weekend. So yeah, I have not been feeling that great. So I was really not up to recording last Friday. And I just want to say I wanted to tell you guys what was going on because I feel like I considered just saying I wasn't feeling well and leaving it at that, but I feel like maybe you deserve a little bit more than that. But I would ask that you please not ask me what's going on. It's just kind of personal, kind of private to me. I know I share a lot of my life with you guys. And I promise everything will be fine. I'm getting excellent care from my doctor, from my husband, who has been just wonderful, from the people that I work with. But I would prefer not to talk about it. So please don't ask me what exactly is going on. Just know that everything is looking like it's going to be okay. And I have got some crafting done because I have basically been forced to stay at home and relax. Now, I may not have as much crafting done as you think I should, or as I think I should, simply because I've been so tired. So I've been going to bed literally every day this week at like 8:30 and sleeping all night. And some of the medication as well has made me like, my mental capacity to focus on a pattern has been pretty small. So pretty much this week I have actually only been, for the last few days, I've only been knitting. I'm working a little bit on some simple crochet because I just don't have the like mental bandwidth to actually focus on a pattern. But the week of Christmas and the week of New Year's, I did actually get quite a bit of crochet done, so I'm excited to show you that. And I actually have a little bit of sewing to show you. I know, I wish it was done, but obviously it's not. So let's jump right in. I have several finished objects that I'm excited to talk about. One is my newest pattern design, and this pattern is being tech edited right now, so it will be out probably in the next week. As soon as I get it back from my tech editor, I will put it up. Keep your eyes out for a short announcement video on this channel for this pattern if you would like to purchase this pattern, because there will be a coupon code for the first week. So this is, you guys have seen it before, this is my frost shawl. It is blacked, all the ends are woven in, and it is completely done. It is gigantic. It's huge. And I'm gonna put it on over my cowl so it's gonna look bulkier than it should because it has like a scarf underneath. But basically, this is a very cozy giant triangle shawl. When I was designing this, I wanted something that had a solid fabric with a little bit of textural interest, but basically I wanted it to be solid because when it gets cold, you need something to actually keep you warm. So I made this out of Barocco Vintage DK in the die lot 2189. I wrote down what these are, what the colorway names are. The green is Yukon green and the gray is charcoal. I used 4, well, really 3.5 skeins for the gray part and then 1 skein of green for the contrast edging, which of course, if you make this shawl, you can do it however you want. You can have a contrast edge, you can make it all in one color, you can do stripes, you can do whatever you want. If for some reason you want it to be bigger than this, you can make it bigger. You could totally wear it over your shoulders. This Barocco Vintage DK it's a DK weight, but it's 60%, right? No, I always say it's 60% and that's wrong. It's 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. So it is a warm yarn because it's wool, but also it's pretty sturdy because it has a little bit of nylon. So you can see the texture. It's got bands of solid fabric and then bands of that ribbing. This is a really simple pattern. Once you have it memorized, you are gonna be able to go with no problem. So I am really, really excited about this pattern. Keep an eye out on the channel. I will announce that this is being released very soon as I get it back from my tech editor. And the only thing I have to do is wash this because for some reason I didn't do that. I steam blocked it and I wove in all my ends and then I was like, oh, it's done. And then when I pulled it out a couple of days ago, I was like, it doesn't smell like wool wash. So I need to wash this. And you can actually wash Barocco Vintage DK on like the gentle cycle in your washing machine. So I'm probably gonna do that because I'm lazy. Not because I'm lazy, just because I can't be bothered. I would rather spend my time doing something other than hand washing things. So this will be out very, very soon. And now that it has been shown, I'm going to clear out my project bag and I'm really excited to finish that whip. I just loved working on that design. I have some other finished objects. You can probably guess. 2 more knitted hats, but that's not the exciting part. The exciting part is they're all done. There are 8 knitted hats. This is my hats on hats project. I am done a little bit early. I need these for not next week, but the week after is when I needed to have these done by. So these are the 4 that have been washed. And I will show you, these are, you can see on, like, you can't see from this, but if I do this is the one that has been washed and dried. This is 100% acrylic yarn. This is the one that has not been washed and dried. You can tell that this one is very stiff and this one is very drapey. So this is Premier Everyday yarn. It's a worsted weight yarn, colorway Charcoal Heather. You get 180 yards per 100 grams. So, and I had about this much left out of each ball, just a little bit. I haven't weighed that at all, but I have enough left from 8 of them that I could probably make another entire hat. But these are the 4 that have been washed. I need to wash these 4 and dry them so that they get that same drape. All of these were made with a 4.5 millimeter hook, knitting needle, except for one that I made in a 5.5 knitting needle because there is one person who has a slightly larger head than everyone else, so I wanted him to have a little extra room. So what I would do is I have a 4.5 millimeter 16-inch circular knitting needle, cast on 88 stitches, then do 4 inches of 2x2 knit purl rib, then plain stockinette all the way till from the edge to right here where I start the decreases measures 9 3/4 inches, and then I just do decreases following the classic cuffed hat pattern that is free on the Purl Soho website, and that is what the decreases look like. Super classic. So there you go. You can make this hat as slouchy or as fitted as you want. If you fold it all the way over so that it's like 4 inches, it's a super fitted hat. And if you want it to be slouchy, all you have to do is not fold it over quite so far. I am really excited that these are done. So excited, you guys. I was happy to make these. However, about 7.5 hats in, I got extremely tired of making them. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, but I feel like that's pretty good to make it all the way to 7.5 hats before wanting to throw in the towel. So I powered through the last 1.5 hats and got it done the week of Christmas. They have all been living in this project bag, which you probably can't, well, maybe you can see that, is covered in black fuzz, so I need to wash this now. And basically what I did is I just used that 16-inch circular knitting needle until it was too small, and then I switched to a few of the hats I did on magic loop, and then I actually switched to double pointed needles for like the last 4 hats to do the decreases. I don't know if it's any faster, but I felt like it was a little bit faster or a little bit less fiddly. So that's a huge amount of hats, and that I am very thrilled to be done with. And I'm thrilled to be able to give them to their new owners in just a couple of weeks, and I think that they will be really appreciated as well. I also have my first finished socks of 2019. And did I bring my sock blocker over here? No, hold on. Okay, so this sock, yes, this particular sock, I started, it's for the year of the sock, but basically I started it the week of Christmas. And I pretty much stress knit this entire sock because I wasn't feeling very well. So these socks are definitely a pair, but they're like fraternal socks. They are not exactly the same. The yarn is a yarn that I got in Orlando at the Knitting Patch when I went to meet up with Caleisha of the Quirky Monday Craftcast and Elizabeth of Crochet Cakes and Caroline of Mind and Muse. This is the one yarn that I bought. It is called Zauberball. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that incorrectly. Zauberball Crazy in the colorway Herbstone. I don't know. I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry. But basically it came in a ball, and it's blue and orange and red, and it's like a barber pole 2-ply. It says on the tag that no 2 of these balls are created equal. There is no set repeat on the stripe pattern, which you can clearly see. This is where the ball of yarn started. So it looks like it might repeat because it's like orange, red, blue, orangey blue, orange. This is where that picks up. So from here, it goes into orange, and then a long stripe of blue, but then it gets really dark right here, and then back to like an orange and blue. So you can definitely tell that these are related, but they're not identical. And I'm totally okay with that. This yarn is a 75-25 wool nylon blend. It is super wash. And you get 420 meters. I don't know how many yards that is. 400-ish, I'm assuming. So I haven't weighed this. I definitely have enough to make another pair of shorty socks with this if I just use contrast heels and toes. I'm not sure what kind of yarn to pair with this because it is a 2-ply and it kind of barber poles. I will say that doing the heel on this yarn, I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel, was a little bit difficult because especially on this first sock, you can see that this is really, really dark, and it's not exactly showing up true on camera because there's one strand of very dark blue, and then there's one strand of like a super dark blue / black color, and it made it very difficult to see the stitches. And I just knit 8 black hats, so I don't generally have a problem seeing stitches, but the issue that I ran into is when you do the twin stitches for the Fish Lips Kiss heel, I couldn't tell which ones were twin stitches and which ones were regular stitches because the yarn is kind of plump and it was 2-plied. So I'm pretty sure I made a couple of mistakes, but that's okay. This one was a little bit easier because only this part of the heel was dark and then this part was a lot lighter. So yeah, these have not been washed, but their ends have been woven in. I am very excited. This is sock pair number 1 for the year of the sock 2019. I can't believe I already have a finished pair of socks. But basically, as I said, I haven't had a lot of mental bandwidth other than to go around in a circle. So I'm going to be washing these and probably wearing them immediately because I love them. I am also entering these into the sock theme Cowl 2019 that Claudia of the Crochet Luna podcast is hosting. She has a theme for every month of the year, which is kind of why I want to make 12 pairs of socks. Her January theme is New Beginnings, and I've never used this yarn before. This is the first time that I've done the Fish Lips Kiss Heel without looking at the pattern. I know, I have it memorized now. I'm so excited. So yeah, this is my entry for January. February, I believe, February is Love is in the Air, and then March is Feeling Lucky, and I think that's all she's released so far. So, I'm very excited to have a finished pair of socks, and as soon as I am done recording, there will be a new pair of socks going in this bag, because now I have 2 sock bags. So, finished socks! So excited. I'm especially excited because, as I said, I'm wearing wool socks right now, and it is my last pair. My last pair, I have to do laundry. I have one more finished object, and it's living in this super cute bag, and it says, nobody puts crochet in a corner. On Saturday, I was basically just sitting at home, and I didn't really know what to do with myself, because I didn't really feel up to doing anything exciting, but I was like mentally more with it than I have been recently. So I sat down, I had a skein of Fat Bunny yarn, 1 skein of bulky weight yarn that I bought at Yarn Lounge, which there is a vlog on my channel for. You can totally go see that. This dyer is local to me. She lives in Clearwater. That's only like 20-30 minutes away from me. This is her card. Fat Bunny yarn. Hopefully you can see that. Her name is Maria. And I purchased a skein of yarn in the colorway Oh Jessica, which apparently is a Who Framed Roger Rabbit reference. I have seen that movie, but that was a long time ago. I feel. Maybe, I don't know, like in the early 2000s I saw that movie. I've only seen it once. But anyways, that totally makes sense. So I do not have a link to her website yet, as it is currently being built. So far she's done like a bunch of yarn shows and things like that, but you will be able to purchase this yarn. So for this episode, what I'm going to do is leave a link directly to her Instagram below, where you will get notified as soon as the website goes live. This yarn, you guys, I am so happy with. So let me show you the finished object and I'll talk about the yarn. I made a hat. This color is everything. This color is life. I have worn this hat twice already, and it hasn't even, like, and by twice I mean like all day. Not, I wore it a little bit. This is all the yarn I have left. I used 1 entire skein, so you get 109 yards for 100 grams. It is a bulky weight yarn, but it is, as you can see, a 2-ply. So it's 2 plies of yarn, bulky weight yarn held together. And this yarn, it's 100% superwash merino. It is incredibly soft. And as you all know, I am pretty sensitive to wool. So if it's scratchy, if it's in a hat, I don't mind that if it's a little bit scratchy, because I have kind of this hair that covers it up. But after wearing it, I usually don't wear hats all day, because eventually it will start to itch right here, and then on the back of my neck it'll start to itch a little bit. This hat has not itched me at all. This is a new pattern. It will be coming out soon. My testers have it right now. I have to take some photos. And like I said, I just haven't felt up to taking photos. But this is called the Cotton Candy Slouch. And actually my husband named this, because I was like, what am I gonna name this hat? And he was like, oh, it looks like cotton candy. And it totally does. So I'm gonna be making Maria one of these for a shop sample, so that she can take that with her to shows. So basically, the pattern, once it is released, you work it from the bottom up, then you work it in a spiral. Once you've completed the ribbing, you can make this for any size head. There are instructions on how to do that. And then you do decreases, much similar to a knit hat. And then there is an optional pom-pom. I could not resist making a pom-pom with this yarn. That is like the fluffiest pom-pom ever. And again, it only left me with this much yarn. That's pretty fantastic. So, let me put it on. This hat will come in 3 sizes. There is a fitted version. There is a small slouch, or no, a short slouch, and a long slouch version. So you can actually make this to your slouchy preference. This is the short slouch version, which I will turn so you can see. You can see the pom-pom. And I have instructions on the pattern on how to make it a fitted hat, how to make it a short slouch, and how to make it a long slouch with schematics. I love, love, love the pom-pom. I only just attached it by tying a bow on the inside. The only thing I will say about having a pom-pom on a slouchy hat is it gets in the way when I'm driving because the headrest, instead of being able to put my head back, my pom-pom keeps hitting the headrest of the car. But I wore this all day, 2 days this week. I love it so much. It's so easy. If you use bulky weight yarn, I made this hat, I designed this hat in like 2.5 hours. You can my testers have said you can make one of these in about an hour and a half. That's it. And I understand that everyone is not going to be able to get a hold of this yarn because some of you don't have access to Fat Bunny yarn, basically. But this is a pattern specifically designed for her yarn. You can use any bulky weight. You just need to keep in mind that your gauge may be a little bit different. And I have included instructions on the pattern. You can make this to fit your head with no problem. You just need to use a certain multiple for the stitches. And then do a very, very tiny amount of math on the decreases. And I've worked out, it's so easy. I worked out how to do it and it's all in the pattern. So basically you have to take your total number, divide it by 4, and then subtract 2. It's so easy. So I'm really excited about this. I'll let you know when it is released. It should be in the next couple of weeks. I just need to get some photos of this. And I highly recommend this yarn. It is so soft. I wish now that I bought like even more of it. Hi Maria, I know you're watching. I love your yarn so much. And can I just say, this pink is everything. Saving my life right now. So that is the last finished object. I do have several works in progress as well. I am going to start with my second pair of socks for 2016, and then I will get into the crochet. So it is living in my second sock bag. Both of my sock bags are from Slipped Stitch Studios. I love these so much. I love the handle, I love the drawstring, I love everything about them. I am making, so far I have a little bitty toe and almost a sock that is, I think maybe I have another inch before I get to do the heel. This yarn is Knitpicks Felici, if you can't tell. It is from, let's see what the colorway is. It is called Wizard. So this is my entry for February, Love is in the Air. Why? Because I love Knitpicks Felici. I love self-striping yarn. I love everything Harry Potter related, and I think these are Harry Potter socks. So this is my entry. Ooh, there's the toe. I have to concentrate when I do a toe. So when I have a little bit of time, I will sit down. A toe takes me about an hour, and then I can just keep going around and around in a circle. So I started this toe a couple days ago when I had an hour. And then, yeah, this is pair number 2 for 2019. This yarn actually was a gift from Amanda who is Knitosaurus. It's spelled a little differently, but I think it's pronounced Knitosaurus. For the Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted campaign, so I'm really excited to be able to use that. This is an entry for the Love Your Stash Cowl, as well as my other socks, as well as this, because they were all stash yarn that I received before Christmas. So that's my work in progress number 1. We'll see how far I get. I'm going to be going on a work trip in a couple of weeks, and I will be able to take yarn with me and knit, but I won't be able to do anything that requires concentration because I have to participate. So all of my crochet, apparently, at the moment, requires counting and concentration and looking at what I'm doing. And I won't be able to do that when I am working. But I will be listening a lot, so I want to have like 4 different socks with the toes done so that I can just go around in a circle and not look at what I'm doing. I don't know if I'll get a lot done, but I want to be prepared. So we'll probably have those finished. I mean, let's be honest. If I take 4 individual socks to work on, I may have 1 finished by the time I get back. But I want to be prepared just in case I get very, very excited. So I'm going to be casting on at least 2 more pairs of socks. I have 3 9-inch circular needles. I knit all my socks 9-inch circular. I do magic loop until I do the increases for the toe, and then I switch to 9-inch circular. They're 2.25 millimeter ChowGoo red lace. I love them. So I have 3 of those, and then I have my ChowGoo mini twist set. So that gives me another one. So I have 4. I think I'm gonna order 1 more 9-inch circular, maybe this week, maybe today. Before, so that from Amazon before. What am I saying? I'm stumbling over my words. I'm going to order 1 more needle today, I believe, from Amazon so that it will get here in a couple of days so that I will have it to take on my trip. Why was that so hard? I don't know. I'm very excited to show you my crochet. I am working on 2 crochet cardigans. Both of them are for the Love Your Stash cowl. One of them 100% will not be finished by February 28th, in my opinion. One of them maybe. So I'm going to show you the one that may be finished first. It is living in this giant, like, reusable shopping bag. It says Mon Chéri on it. This bag I've actually had for quite a while. I got it from Shutterfly for free. It was like $5 shipping, which I'm sure paid them more than paid them for the cost of this bag. But the yarn has been living in this bag since I got it. And I've had this yarn almost 2 years. And I just kept being like, I don't know what I'm gonna make with it. I don't know. I wanted to make a striped cardigan with it. So I finally decided which one I was going to use for the Love Your Stash cowl, because this deserves to be a sweater, right? And what I am making is the Stark cardigan, and I know that's not a great picture, by KT and the Squid. This is the yarn. I have 5, one of the reasons I had such a problem deciding what pattern to make is because I have 9 balls total of this, but 5 in blue and 4 in red. This is Isaac Mizrahi craft yarn. It's a weird yarn because you get 85 gram balls. 85 grams, what? And you get 213 yards. So it is a kind of a DK weight yarn. I got this yarn for $1 a ball. Basically, it got discontinued, and a viewer of this podcast sent me a link and said, hey, I don't know if you're interested or want any of this yarn, but it's $1 a ball today. So I got 9 balls of yarn for $9, plus it was like $7 shipping, but still, this yarn was fairly expensive. And I don't know, I haven't seen Isaac Mizrahi yarn at any Michaels recently, so I feel like maybe they discontinued selling his yarn altogether. But I've just been hoarding this yarn. And when I got it, it smelled kind of bad, but I just left it. I left it to air out, and now it's completely fine. Of course it is. It's been in my closet for 2 years. So I have been working, and I have finished the back piece. How exciting is that? This is the front. This is the back of the Stark cardigan. Now, the Stark cardigan actually has a set-in sleeve. It does not have a drop shoulder. I had started that cardigan with a different yarn, Knit Picks Brava Sport, I believe. And I think that the striping, I don't know what I'm going to do about the striping on the sleeves because this cardigan is made from the bottom up. So I'm a little concerned about the set-in sleeve. I may have to rejig the sleeve to be worked from the top down. Or maybe I'll just, if I have enough yarn in the blue, maybe just make the sleeves blue. I don't know. But basically, you start right here where this red is, and you work up to here. And then you go back and do this bottom border. And I love it. This is really soft. I don't think the cardigan itself is going to be too heavy. I am going to wear the heck out of this, I promise you. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is I believe that this yarn is going to pill like crazy. Did I tell you guys what the content was? It's 50% merino wool and 50% acrylic. So the yarn is pretty loosely plied. I haven't had too many issues with it splitting while I'm working with it, but I use the Clover Amour crochet hooks, and they don't tend to split my yarn. They're not quite as pointy as some. So I have concerns about how well this is gonna hold up. It's gonna have to be hand washed, but it's okay, it's worth the sacrifice. And if I get like, I don't know, even 6 to 12 months of wear out of this before it falls apart, I'll be really, really happy. And who knows, maybe I'll get more. So I'm really excited about this. I am hoping maybe even this weekend to start one of the front panels. So I'm going to do both of the front panels, which are worked from the same way. So you start from, I'll be starting from the red and then doing the border, which is a different texture. I'm sorry that red is like completely blowing out the camera. That's better. From that point down. So yeah, that's an entire piece of a cardigan that is completed, which I am pretty excited about. You put everything back in this bag so it doesn't get lost. So yeah, giant bag of yarn. We'll see how much yarn I have left over. I don't know. 9 balls seems like a lot, but as I said, they're only 85 grams. And I need at least, to be comfortable, I need about 700 grams of yarn. If it's DK or worsted yarn, to comfortably feel like I can make a cardigan. The second cardigan I have been working on is living in my amazing mustard bag that I love so much. It is from Faye of the Crochet Circle podcast. This pattern is the Soft Gray Cardigan by Kat Golden. It is a Tunisian crochet cardigan. Let me tell you, the struggle. So I hemmed and hawed about this cardigan for like a solid week. I swatched for it. I didn't know about the fabric. Let me see if I can find my swatch actually to show you. I swatched partially, and then I was like, I don't know, this fabric is kind of dense. I don't know if this is what I want to make. So then I washed and blocked the swatch, and it did soften up quite a bit. Tunisian doesn't really have any stretch to it, so I don't know. I love how the stitches look in this yarn, but I was like, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have enough yarn, because basically the pattern calls for, let me tell you, if it's going to be a size large, it calls for 9 50-gram balls of yarn, which that's 450 grams of yarn for a large. So not only that's 200 grams at least less than I would be comfortable having for a regular crochet cardigan. This is Tunisian crochet, so it eats yarn like nobody's business. So I have 700 grams right now of this yarn, and I am very convinced that it will not be enough. I have caked up all of my yarn, so here's 6 skeins of this yarn, and I don't know, here is a tag. This is Louette Gems yarn. It's 100% merino. I got this yarn for my birthday last year. It is a kind of a light worsted, so you get 175 yards to 100 grams. That's not a lot of yardage, especially for a Tunisian crochet project. And this is in the colorway Eggplant, which I'm sure you can tell why. It's so pretty. I am convinced I do not have enough yarn. I swatched for actually 2 other projects with this yarn, and I just I didn't like it. This yarn wants to be the soft gray cardigan. It just wants to be the soft gray cardigan. There's nothing that can be done about that. So I started. I am almost through. I probably have 20 grams left of the first ball. Maybe 30. This is how much I have done. I am only halfway through the increases for 1 sleeve. So that means a sleeve will probably take 2 balls. I'm gonna have to order more. I'm trying to decide if I want to order more yarn right now to make, it is a commercial yarn, so the dye lots are going to be very similar, but if I order it now, I can potentially stripe it in if the dye lot is a little bit different. But I don't know how much I need. I don't know how much I need to order. Maybe, I would say probably 3 more to be safe. 1,000 grams, that's a lot. But look at it. It's so pretty. And I don't know what, maybe it was just I didn't have any brain power to do this, but I did the first increase on this sleeve like 4 times. I kept getting my count off somehow. I really don't have a clue what went wrong. But eventually I got it. You can see the increases on the side over here. And yeah, so the best part about this is this stitch marker. It's a head wig. that I got at the Harry Potter store, at the platform 9 3/4 store in London at King's Cross. I made a stitch marker out of her. I love it so much. So I have been sitting down to work on this, not at all this week, but I would do like one repeat at a time because it's about 5 rows to do the increase and then all of the rows in between. So I have not got very far. That's why I say this will definitely not be done by the end of the Love Your Stash cowl. I am using I got gauged with a 5mm Tunisian crochet hook. I will say that I am thinking about ordering another kind of Tunisian hook to do this project with. I don't mind the hook itself. It's wood, but it's very slick. What I mind is this cable. It is so stiff. It does not, like when I'm working with it, it's just the wrong direction. Like it doesn't work with me at all. The cable keeps getting in the way and I fight with it constantly. And no matter how much I tighten this join, the cable will come loose eventually and start unscrewing. Also, this crochet hook is so pointy that I feel like it's splitting this yarn a lot, so I have to go slowly. Crochet, you know, takes a certain amount of time. Tunisian crochet takes longer than regular crochet. Crochet with this hook, because I have to be careful not to split my yarn, takes even longer. So I'm going to order a Denise interchangeable crochet hook. I have one, but I don't have a 5mm. So I'm gonna order one just in a 5mm, work the whole project with that hook. I've heard really, really good things about it, and I did like working with the one that I have, but I've never made a giant project in Tunisian crochet with one of her hooks. I don't want to order an entire set without testing it out first. So the ones that I have are the Knitter's Pride Dreams crochet hooks, they're fine. The problem is the cable. It's not the hook. I don't love the cable. So it's making it slow going, but it is beautiful. This yarn only wants to be this cardigan and nothing else, so I will listen to it. I'm gonna have to get more yarn, but that's okay. That's cardigan project number 2. And then I have one more work in progress that is actually so new, it's not in a project bag because I started it last night. So when I finished those 8 hats, I was so excited because that means that I got to cast on something just for me. And it is a pattern that I have been dying to make since it came out, but I would not let myself cast it on until A, my needle was free, and B, all of those hats were done. It is the Faye hat by Kelly Martin. I love it, it's so pretty. So it uses basically 2 strands of yarn held together, a worsted weight and then a mohair. This is a free pattern, so you should totally look this up on Ravelry. It is a great pattern. I am using Lion Brand jeans yarn in the colorway Faded. This is one of my favorite acrylics. It washes up incredibly soft. And I am also using, the tag is way over there. This is Cascade Kid Seta mohair. It's a mohair silk blend. I'm not sure what the percentage is, maybe like 60-40-ish, but it's beautiful and they match exactly. And this is a very simple pattern. And I'll take a look. This is what I've got so far. I did this all last night while sitting on the couch. So I'm really, really excited. So from this way, it looks like a regular hat, right? But if I turn it this way, can you see the halo? Oh, it's so fuzzy. I cannot wait to wear this. I did modify the pattern slightly because she uses a very specific type of yarn, which I do not have. And if you hold a worsted and a lace weight double, it might make a light bulky, basically, but this is a light worsted weight yarn. This is not what I would consider a regular worsted weight yarn, so I was never gonna get the gauge that she requires in her pattern. So I just actually cast on the largest size. So she has several different sizes in the pattern. And then I added 6 more stitches, which will be completely fine because I looked at all the decreases and they're very simple, they're very easy to understand. I just need to do 1 extra decrease set. So yeah, I also did, because I knew I was gonna get curl with this yarn, I did 1 row of 1x1 rib before I started the stockinette so that when I steam this, I think it will stay much better. So yeah, this should be done very soon. I believe. I need to put it in a project bag because currently it's a little difficult to keep untangled as it's just floating around on the couch. But that's what I was working on last night. That's what I will be working on if I have to take any medication today or anything like that takes away my brain power. I do want to get a little bit of Tunisian crochet done today. So while I have some mental energy, I will do that. That's all the yarny things that I've been working on. I have been sewing. I know, crazy. Because I have finally started to work on this. It is the Stevie dress, which as you can see is just a tunic dress by Tilly and the Buttons. I purchased this pattern on Black Friday. They were having a sale. And I purchased the digital version, so I had to print out all the pattern pieces and then put them together, which I did. This dress would probably be done by now if I felt up to it, because I'm fairly close. So let me just show you. It is a tunic dress. This is the fabric. It's Harry Potter fabric. So I had just enough of this fabric in my stash to make this dress, because you need like 2.5 yards. This is the only fabric I had 2.5 yards of. What I have left to do is the bottom hem and the sleeve cuffs. I have not done that. Everything else is done. All of the piecing together, the neckline. I interfaced the neckline incorrectly, I might add, because I used like bag interfacing that was too stiff. So this is really stiff because I didn't use apparel interfacing, but that's all I had. So I figured this is like a test, basically. If it works out, it's gonna be wonderful because it's Harry Potter fabric. But if it doesn't work out, this fabric was not that expensive. It's just quilting cotton. And I know that's not what the pattern calls for, but I did not really know what I was doing. So I wanted to practice before I do something on more difficult fabric. This is the back. There are 2 back options. You can either do ties or you can do a button closure. And I chose to do a button closure because I didn't have enough fabric to do the ties, I didn't think, because I just barely had enough fabric for this pattern. So once everything is done, I'll sew a button right here and then this will close. You have to have this kind of opening in the back because if you don't, you won't be able to get it over your head. You can tell my top stitching is not quite even right there. I may actually take a marker to that on the black side right here, cover that up and see, because the rest of it, I don't know, somehow it got wonky right there, maybe because I was turning. So yeah, the Tilly and the Buttons pattern is wonderful. I have not had any questions. I haven't had to rip anything out except that I pinned something incorrectly and like almost started sewing it inside out, but I haven't had to use my seam ripper. Her pattern is excellent. It has pictures. It has like basically like a photo tutorial on how to make this dress. And the only modification I've made to the pattern is I have added pockets. There are no pockets in the pattern, and pockets are not hard. You just kind of need to cut them out, and then when you're sewing up the seam, make sure that you sew around the pocket, you don't sew the pocket opening closed. So the only thing I'm a little concerned about is I might have sewed them a little bit too long or too far down. So once I roll this hem and do it, I'm afraid the pocket's gonna stick out the bottom. But if it does, I'm just gonna trim off the bottom of the pocket and refinish the edge. I'm not gonna take out the pockets. So yeah, I had really hoped to have this done. It will not be done, but I'm trying to work on it a little bit. Like yesterday, I finished the seams on the inside for the side seams. So today, I don't know if I'll do anything today, but maybe tomorrow I can do the sleeve cuffs. And then I can do the bottom hem. Well, I'm gonna wear this with probably a belt right on my waist to give it like some visual interest, so it's not just like hanging, because this is quilting cotton. It doesn't have great drape, honestly. I love it, but it doesn't have great drape. So I'm very excited about that. I wish it was done, but what can I say? And finally, I have some acquisitions to show you. There's nothing that I purchased, honestly, but I still have a lot to show you. One is, I got this for Christmas. And by I got it for Christmas, I mean I got a gift card from my in-laws, and I bought this for Christmas. It is Tilly and the Buttons Stretch. It is a book on how to sew with knit fabric, which is what I'm really interested in. I want to be able to make myself like some t-shirts and things like that. So what the patterns that are in here, let's see if I can find them. You can make a skirt, a baseball t-shirt, which I love baseball tees, a sweater / dress. You can make a sweater version or a dress version. There is a hoodie and sweatpants pattern in here. Like, you guys, I can make my own sweatpants. That is definitely happening. And then there is this dress, which that looks complicated. I'm sure it's probably not, but I really, really loved working with her pattern. So don't know when exactly, but I will be making myself some t-shirts. That's my first goal. I want to make myself some t-shirts out of knit fabric. I got several things in the mail. Ooh, I want to show you one other Christmas present, actually. This is something that I requested for Christmas from my parents. It's The Guy's Knit Book by Nathan Taylor of Sockmatician. Do I necessarily need this book? No. However, it has some really, really valuable information on here on how to read your knitting, fix problems, etc. I love the way he explained things. His Sockmatician's toe-up sock recipe is the reason that I can knit socks. And I just wanted to support him. And I feel like there's a ton of valuable information in here. And it is a beautiful book. Beautiful. So I got that for Christmas. I haven't really had a chance to look at it that much, but I'm very excited about that. I won a prize. So in the Killmonger Cowl, which this is the Killmonger Cowl, but there was a crochet along hosted by Stephanie of the Tatted Tatter, and I participated in that and basically like themed all of my projects to be the Avengers, and I won a prize, which came in the mail. It is Peekaboo Yarns in the colorway Brighter Blue Music. It's a 75-25 superwash merino and nylon blend, and it is 400 yards, so it's fingering weight. And then it came with this button from Crochet Luna that says Top Secret Crochet inside. I think there's a possibility I may already have this button. I need to check my buttons. But if that's the case, then I will gift this as part of the Love Your Stash Cowl prizes, so that you guys can have a button too. So this is beautiful. Love that. Just very excited to get that in the mail. I don't normally win stuff. I think I've won something one time, and it was like a couple of stitch markers on Instagram. So that was really exciting to be like, oh my God, I won something. And then I have gotten 4 packages in the mail. I'm completely spoiled. I'm gonna show you what they are, but first I just want to say that none of the people who have sent me these things really had any idea what was going on in my life, and it has not been a great couple of weeks. Some days have been really, really difficult, and these people were just being nice just because they wanted to be nice. They just wanted to send me something, and I can't really describe how much better it made me feel. So I will show you, but I just want to encourage everyone, like, to be kind to each other. Like, you never know what someone is going through, what someone is dealing with in their day-to-day life. If you're thinking about someone, send them a text. Tell them you're thinking about them. Tell them that they're great, because you could really improve someone's entire day, especially if they're having a terrible day. So this is in no particular order, but I got a package in the mail from Sam of the SamSqueak Podcast, which is, she made the most amazing bulky arm knitted blanket in like, I don't know, an hour or something. There's a time-lapse video on her channel, which you should go check out. So she sent me a mason jar, like drink cup holder. What am I trying to say? A cup, a mason jar cup. I've never seen anything like this. It's got a spout. That's amazing. And inside it has some Earl Grey tea and some caramels, which are long gone. So this is super special. And then she sent me a little notions pouch that has a llama on it that says, nope. And that is exactly how I feel. So I love it. And there's some tape and like some stickers inside. And then she wrote me a very, very sweet note. And that really made me smile. I have not used this yet because I wanted to show it to you on the podcast before I used it, but I'm excited. This is like, I don't know, it's so sturdy, and I'm definitely gonna drink some tea out of this. Maybe cold tea. I have some cold infused teas that were sent to me a while ago, and I haven't been able to try them yet, and I think I'm going to try some cold tea, put this in the fridge, and then take this with me when I go places. So thank you so much, Sam. That was really, really nice of you. The second thing that I got in the mail just came in actually recently, and it was from Melissa. Hi, Melissa. I know you're watching. She won a prize from the Nerd Along, and then she actually sent me something back, which is, you don't have to do that, but it was really nice of you. She sent me this yarn, which is actually Japanese yarn, and it's kind of like velvet. It's 100% polyester. It's like velvet yarn, and they don't obviously sell this here. So the yarn is Luna Mole? I don't know. Gradiation, made in Japan. It's beautiful. They're 350 gram balls, so it's 150 grams. I don't know what I'm gonna make with this. I feel like this yarn is really special. So I need to find a really special project. I'm thinking maybe like a cowl would be perfect for this yarn, but I don't know. I have to decide and make the perfect project with it. So thank you so much, Melissa. And she also included this book called Crochet. And I haven't had a chance to look at this too much either, but I flipped through it and the stitch patterns are amazing. Like, they're just incredible. And the way that the book is split up is really great. It has patterns and it has all kinds of different stitches and lace and all kinds of stuff. So it has a bunch of patterns and a bunch of stitches. And this is a really valuable resource. So I'm very thrilled to have this. I just wanted to say also, if you're a designer and you're thinking about designing and you want to use a stitch pattern from a stitch encyclopedia, stitch dictionary, you can do that. It is not plagiarism. The only thing that is copyrighted is the text and the photo in that book. So if you see like a leaf pattern and in a stitch dictionary and you want to use that to make a shawl or a wrap or something like that, or if you see a cable pattern, you have to write how to do it yourself. Like, you cannot copy what is written in that book, because that is copyrighted. But the actual stitch itself cannot be copyrighted. There's no way to copyright a crochet stitch. You can only copyright text and pictures. So, I mean, you can always put this was inspired by or link back to the original source where you found it. But as long as you word it in your own words, you come up with your way to do it. And especially if you're looking at an old stitch dictionary, they have very little in the way of explanation for their stitch patterns. So if you just write out how to do it step by step, you will be completely fine. So I heard that on the Knit More Girls podcast in one of their very old episodes. It may have been with Barbara Walker or somebody else very famous in the knitting community who has made stitch dictionaries essentially. And she was like, no, you can't copyright a stitch. You can only copyright the text. So if you want to use a stitch out of a stitch dictionary, go ahead. Make sure you, of course, quote your source material. You cannot copy what they said in the book, but you can rewrite it in a way that your audience will understand. The other thing that came, it wasn't so much in the mail, a person that has been in my small group at church for a year now, and she is just the sweetest person. We get together and have dinner sometimes. And we had dinner this past week, actually, and she gave me a little Christmas gift, which was completely unnecessary, but it made me get like a super emotional because she does not knit or crochet, never has. I don't think has any interest in it. But she went out of her way to find out what a project bag was, where you could possibly find them, and what kind of project bags are useful. And then she picked patterns, fabric patterns that had meaning to her. So she got these on Amazon, and she gave me 2 project bags, and they're from Team Oi. She got these on Amazon, and this is one. They're both bags like this that you can put over your arm. So this is like a shawl-sized or sock-sized bag that has little sheep. It's stripy on the inside, and it has 2 pockets, and it also has these grommets so you can feed your yarn through, and then it has a pocket on the outside for notions that zips. I have actually been looking for one of these bags. Not looking so much as like eyeing them because I really would like to, when I'm feeling a little better and I'm allowed to do like physical activity, go out and maybe take a walk and try to see if I can like knit and walk or crochet and walk at the same time. So I needed a bag that would like hang on my arm and be able to pull the yarn out easily. So I've been looking at them. It's so funny that she got this for me. And she also got a giant one by the same company. This is like a sweater size bag. Same stripy fabric on the inside, big pocket on the outside that zips, and then it has these grommets you can feed the yarn through if you would like to. I don't personally love to use those grommets just because what if I want to switch bags or I want to take my project out? I don't want to have to cut the yarn. But this one has, yeah, it has 2 pockets on the inside and they're just gigantic. And she wrote me like a sweet note with this, and then she was like, if you don't know, I am a pastor. I work at a church. I'm not like the head person, but I am in charge of small groups and classes and all kinds of stuff. So she bought me this fabric because she was like, you're like a shepherd. And then she bought this fabric because she was like, I am like a tree and you help me to grow. And I know that's really simple, but it made me cry. And it was so special. And she was like, if you don't like them, you can totally give them away. And I was like, how could I not like this? Like, you don't knit or crochet and you took the time to do some research, and that's, I don't know, it was just so special. That was on Tuesday this week that she gave those to me, and it had not been a great day. I mean, it's been a series of not great days, but that was particularly not a great day. And I don't know, it just made it feel like everything's worth it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna cry. But that was really, really special. And I know she doesn't watch this podcast, so I'm not gonna say her name, but I don't think she even knows for a tiny fraction of how much that meant to me. And I think I'm going to put my Faye hat in this bag. It probably won't live there very long because I'm going to finish that very soon. And then the final thing that I got in the mail was a present from Caleisha of the Quirky Monday Craftcast, which I will put a link to down below. If you don't watch her podcast, why not? She is one of my favorite people of all time. I did not know this was coming. She wrote me a very, very sweet note with a unicorn. She sent me basically a Christmas present. One of these, this is a Star Wars coloring book. How amazing is that? And I do have colored pencils. I haven't broke into this book yet, but I am going to. This is pretty much the coolest. And I literally was like, what? When I opened it. There was one particular picture that I wanted to show you, and now I can't find it, that I was going to color first. You'll see it whenever I start coloring it. She also sent this skein of Rowan yarn. It's 100 grams. It is all kinds of fiber. Let's see. 45% wool, 20% mohair, 25% nylon, and 10% silk. That's crazy. And it's beautiful. It's like this beautiful, like, brown to gray gradient. I love it. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. And then she sent me 50 grams of yarn hand-dyed by herself. This is Deborah Norville. But it's green and off-white. I know it's blowing out the camera a little bit, but maybe you can see back here. This is not part of what she sent me. It's just going to be the contrast. Toes, heels, and cuffs. This is going to be my third pair of socks. I'm going to wind this up today as soon as I am done with this podcast. Because the theme for March in the Sock Theme Cowl 2019 that Crochet Luna is hosting is Feeling Lucky. And this is green, so it's perfect. I'm going to make socks out of this immediately. And I feel so special because Caleisha hand dyes yarn, but she doesn't sell her yarn. And I am now the proud owner of Caleisha yarn. It is going to be socks. And I'm going to be the proud owner of hand dyed Caleisha socks. Oh, so excited. And then, that's not all, because she sent me a bag. It's Christmas in Florida. Look at the flamingos. On the inside, this gets even better. It's sand. Did you get it? Flamingos, Christmas, and Christmas on the beach. That's her little tag. And then she sent me some buttons for my cardigan, which I have not put on yet. And this beautiful little stitch marker by Nerdbird Makery. Nerdbird Makery. It's so pretty. And I have been dying to use it. I have been dying to wind this yarn up, actually. But I didn't do it because I wanted to show it on the podcast, and then I didn't record a podcast last week, and I was like this close to not making it, because as soon as I wind this up, obviously, it's going to be living in this flamingo bag. This bag is going with me on my work trip, and I'm working on these socks. And Caleisha, I love you. You're the best. I don't know what in the world I did to deserve friends like I have, to deserve people being so nice to me. I don't feel like I deserve that at all. But I can't put into words how much it has meant to me that you guys have been so nice. And all of the people who commented on my last video and said such nice things. I wasn't like trying to make you say nice things about me or the podcast, but it was kind of, convenience the wrong word, but it was good timing in a sense, because I have read every single one of them, and it has kind of meant the world to me that this podcast means something to you, and that you guys come back again and again and again. And like I said, it's not been great. And that's just lifted my spirits and made me feel better. And yeah, so I don't want to do this. I could keep going, but I'm just gonna get more emotional. Nobody needs that in their life. So pretty much that's my whole life update. It hasn't been great, but Christmas was very nice. It was just myself, my husband, my parents, and then my brother and his girlfriend were able to come as well for a little while. So we cooked a ham. My husband made mac and cheese. He makes the best mac and cheese in the world. And I made green beans and croissants. And by croissants, I mean like out of the can. And mashed potatoes. And that was it. I didn't do any other cooking. We bought a pie from Publix, an apple pie, which was $4 for a pie. I couldn't make a pie for that amount of money. And it probably wouldn't have been as good, because I can bake, but pies are not on that list. New Year's was really nice. New Year's Eve, I should say, was really nice. We went out with a bunch of friends. We stayed up way too late. I was up until like 2 a.m. I have not been awake until 2 a.m. in ages. I do not stay up that late. I go to bed like 10. I wasn't feeling so great. I was feeling a little bit better that day, and then the next day I had to go back to the hospital. But it's not because I stayed up too late. I guarantee you. We ate Mexican food, and we watched fireworks, and it was just lovely to spend time with friends. And the other thing that I wanted to quickly mention, and you guys know I don't get super spiritual or super political on this podcast. I want this to be kind of a safe space for everyone. But at the same time, I feel like this is a really important issue that needs to be talked about. It needs to be discussed and brought to the forefront of our community. So there has been, if you are on Instagram, you will probably be aware, or at least have seen something about, there's been a conversation of makers who are persons of color, any color other than white, basically, who are dealing with prejudice in their maker lives. So Pom Pom Quarterly, I would say, is the only magazine that I know of that has done a wonderful job. They use designers of all different ethnicities and backgrounds. They use models of all different ethnicities, backgrounds, and ages and sizes. That's really, really important. But it's the only magazine I know like that. Interweave has done some of models of different size, different colors, but not so much different sizes. It's still like very much the model mentality, but because there are wonderful, talented designers, makers, crafters who make bags, who make yarn, who make patterns, who do all kinds of things in supporting our community, who are not getting the recognition they deserve because they just don't have the space and they don't have the voice because people aren't necessarily listening to them. So I would highly encourage you, if you are not seeing any diversity in your Instagram feed, in your YouTube feed, go find some people. And I just wanted to give a special shout out to the people that have impacted my life, that I love dearly, who are wonderful, talented, incredible makers who I watch on a daily basis. Well, maybe not daily because they don't upload daily, but I follow them, I interact with them because they make my life better. They make my life more exciting and more diverse. And there has never been any harm in having different perspectives, right? So I wanted to give special shout outs to people that you should be following. And if you're not, you need to go click on them. And I'll leave links down below. So number 1, you need to go follow Caleisha of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. She just broke 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I commented like, woo, in all caps when she posted on Instagram that had happened. But I can't even put into words how excited I am for her. She should be at 10,000 subscribers. She uploads a podcast almost every single week. She does amazing creations, not just knitting and crochet. She does all kinds of crafts, sewing, she like paints, she hand dyes yarn, does all kinds of stuff. And she talks a lot about mental health, which is very important in my life. I think it's very important in the lives of a lot of this community. And she's just a beautiful person. Caleisha, love you. And if you're not following her, you need to go and you need to go subscribe to her channel because she will make your life better. Her podcast is worth watching. And it's not just because she is a maker of color. That is one aspect of her life, but it's so important. And we don't ever want to overlook people just because they look differently from us. Her podcast is worth watching because it's amazing. And it's a bonus that you get to have an entirely new perspective. And she actually has a segment on her podcast that premieres occasionally called Black Fibers, Black Threads, which is all about people of color in the maker community, which I think is great. If you're looking for more diversity, which you should be, you can easily go watch her podcast and find a ton of people to follow and interact with. So Quirky Monday Craftcast, number 1. Number 2, follow Claudia of the Crochet Luna podcast. She is a beautiful, fabulous, fierce woman, and Claudia, you are the best. You know that. I love you. You improve my life. If there was no Claudia of Crochet Luna, there would be no Cozy Cottage Crochet Podcast. I have said that many times. She is the person who has inspired me. I feel so blessed to have met her in person twice now, and I can't imagine not knowing her. She's so wonderful. She's so talented. She designs. Not only does she like crochet and knit slightly, but she designs all of these buttons. She makes products for the maker community who is crochet, like specifically crochet related. And she's fabulous. You need to go follow her. Follow the Crochet Luna podcast. Another podcast is the Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast, which is Alyson and Vivian, a mother-daughter. So Alyson lives in Edinburgh and Vivian lives in... Where do you live, Vivian? Connecticut? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But I actually had the opportunity to meet Alyson in real life as well when we visited Edinburgh recently. They have an amazing podcast. Alyson crochets, Vivian knits, and I always watched on YouTube because they have pictures of what they're working on, but they have an audio podcast as well. Plus, if you watch on YouTube, you tend to see pictures of their adorable cats. So that is amazing. I'm going to leave links to all 3 of these ladies below. There are countless more that I can't list at the moment. For example, like just even off the top of my head, really, really influential people in the maker industry would be Stephanie from All About Ami. Amazing patterns, amazing patterns. She is a person of color, and it's wonderful. Like, we need that. And I feel like because I have space to speak to many people, that I need to push these people, not because they're better than anyone else, but because they deserve the same amount of attention as everyone else. And these are people who have positively impacted my life, and I think that they will positively impact your life. I only promote things that I love. And these are people that I love. And we have to be intentional. And I know on the surface, you look at me and you're like, oh, she's just a white girl. What does she know? Well, I have certainly not experienced racism in any level that other people of color have. I promise you. But all of my dad's family is Jewish. So on the surface, it may look like I am a normal person. Not that Jews aren't normal. But sometimes when people have found that out, they have not been very nice about that. Also, as a woman, I work in an industry that is typically fairly anti-female, in the sense that I am a pastor. The person that I work for and the church that I work for I have never been in a place that has been so supportive and so affirming of who I am as a person and what I am trying to do with my life. But being in theological circles, especially in the Christian faith, not great for a woman. To be told, I have been told, I can't even count how many times that you can't do that. There's no space for you. No one is listening when you talk. You shouldn't be here. And on and on and on. And I understand completely that that is not the same thing as racism. But I just want you to understand that I know what it feels like to be told you don't belong. And that's not true. And I know what it feels like to be tired and not want to have to deal with that anymore. But we have to keep going. We are the ones who change the world, right? So that our children, our grandchildren, maybe don't have to deal with this. We have to do the work. And I do not mean in any way to offend anyone. But if you consider yourself a person of faith, you desperately need to look at yourself and say, what about my life can I improve? Can I expand? Can I follow people who are different than me? Because we can only get better, right? And hopefully that didn't make anyone upset. But if it did, I'm sorry. That's how I feel. And this is a channel where I want there to be positivity and I want there to be hope. And as I come across and interact with more makers of color who I feel like that you need to know about, I will tell you. I promise I will tell you. Oh, I did forget to mention one dyer who is Mitchell's Creations. You need to go check out her Etsy store. I will put a link down below. She makes incredibly beautiful yarn. Incredibly beautiful. And we should support her because she deserves to have her yarn out in the world. So I feel like that maybe was a little rambly, but if you are a person of color out in the world and you're watching this podcast, just know that I see you. If I don't follow you, send me a message on Instagram because I honestly don't follow a lot of people on Instagram. I only follow crochet or knitting because that's all I want to look at on Instagram. I have enough real life on Facebook and I try to stay away from it. I have enough real life in my real life, I should say. So, but if your Instagram page is focused on yarn, is focused on fiber arts, and I don't follow you back, send me a message. If you have a podcast and you're a person of color and I don't follow you or I haven't mentioned you on the podcast, send me a message, send me an email because I want to. Now, I have a limited amount of time and I am honestly so behind at the moment because I've been going to bed at 8 p.m. But I want to connect with you. I want to be involved in your world. I want to have interaction with you because I think that you're valuable and what you are doing is amazing. I wouldn't be here if all of you did not watch. So I'm grateful for you. I appreciate you. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling tired, just hear me in any situation, whether it's people are being mean, people are being racist or sexist, or people are just being rude to you in real life, or you just have a lot on your plate like I do at the moment. Just know that it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be upset. You do not have to paste a smile on your face and just be like, everything's fine, because that's not authentic. Now, I'm not saying you need to tell everyone your problems all the time. Be careful who you trust, right? But it's okay to be who you are. It is okay to have emotions. It is okay to be upset. And it's okay to be tired of doing work that is worth doing. Just keep going. Don't give up. I need you to keep going. And to everyone who has contacted me over the last couple of weeks, everyone who sent me a message being like, where are you? Missed your podcast. I appreciate you. You guys are the entire reason that I am here. And I'm so grateful that you are part of my world and that silly, crazy me in front of a camera is part of your world, even if it's just a tiny little part. I hope that it brings you some joy and some happiness. Oh, and I'm gonna stop because, as you can tell, I am an emotional person today, which is completely fine, but I mean, I'm not like an attractive crier, okay? So let's not do that. So I'll be back hopefully in 2 weeks. If you want any updates, go follow me on Instagram. That's where I will be. Keep an eye out for the frost shawl. There will be a coupon code. I will upload that video hopefully in the next week. It will be available. And until I see you again, be kind to yourself and happy crafting.